When Norman Brown was 22, he received a mandatory life sentence for distributing crack cocaine.
I do deserve to have served some time, but that much? I think that was overkill.
After 24 years, his sentence was commuted by then-President Obama in 2015 as part of his push to roll back what he described as excessive penalties for nonviolent lower-level offenders.
Their punishments didn't fit the crime.
Today, a significant shift back to stricter guidelines.
This is a key part of President Trump's promise to keep America safe. If you are a drug trafficker, we will not look the other way.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions is ordering prosecutors to go after the toughest possible sentences, including those with mandatory minimums, allowing for certain exceptions if approved by a U.S. attorney or assistant attorney general. It reverses Obama-era policies that gave more leeway to prosecutors.
What we'll probably be seeing is increasing prison populations in our federal system.
Civil liberties advocates argue the decision will repeat a failed experiment, with former AG Eric Holder, who implemented the old policy, calling the new one not tough on crime, but dumb on crime. Quote, an ideologically motivated cookie-cutter approach. As for Norman Brown, he hopes the new Attorney General will change his mind.
There are more people like me dying in prison that need to get out and give back.
Hallie Jackson, NBC News, the White House.
Today, I am announcing that I sent a memo to each of our United States attorneys last night establishing a charging and sentencing policy for this Department of Justice. And I trust our prosecutors in the field to make good judgments. They deserve to be unhandcuffed and not micromanaged from Washington. Rather, they must be permitted to apply the law to the facts of each investigation. Let's be clear. We are forcing the laws that Congress has passed. That is both our fundamental mission and our constitutional duty. Going forward, I have empowered our prosecutors to charge and pursue the most serious offense, as I believe the law requires, most serious, readily provable offense. It means that we're going to meet our responsibility to enforce the law with judgment and fairness. It is simply the right and moral thing to do. But it is important to note that unlike previous charging memoranda, I have given our prosecutors discretion to avoid sentences that would result in an injustice.
Attorney General Sessions orders tougher drug crime prosecutions. Attorney General Jeff Sessions ordered federal prosecutors this week to seek the maximum punishment for drug offenses, in one of the clearest breaks yet from the policies of the Justice Department under the Obama administration. The move is an abrupt departure from policy made by President Barack Obama's Attorney General, to reduce the number of people convicted of certain lower-level drug crimes being given long jail terms. The change, affirms our responsibility to enforce the law, is moral and just, and produces consistency, Sessions said, in a memo to federal prosecutors written May 10 and made public Friday. But former Attorney General Eric Holder, the architect of the Obama administration reforms, called Sessions' move unwise and uninformed and warned it would take this nation back to a discredited past. The policy announced today is not tough on crime. It's dumb on crime, Holder said in a statement. It is an ideologically motivated, cookie-cutter approach that has only been proven to generate unfairly long sentences that are often applied indiscriminately and do little to achieve long-term public safety. Sessions' memo urged prosecutors to file the most serious, readily provable charges that carry the most substantial punishment, including mandatory minimum sentences. Related, just say no, AG Sessions cites old-school anti-drug motto. It marked a reversal of the policy imposed in 2013 under Holder's Smart on Crime initiative. This directed prosecutors not to report the amount of drugs involved in an arrest if it would trigger mandatory minimums for nonviolent offenders who had no ties to drug cartels or gangs and who did not sell to children. In announcing his policy, Holder said at the time, with an outsized, unnecessarily large prison population, we need to ensure that incarceration is used to punish, deter, and rehabilitate, not merely to warehouse and forget. Prosecutors were directed instead to focus on the most serious offenses. Related, as drug sentencing debate rages, ridiculous sentences persist. Holder's approach included legislation to reduce some mandatory minimum sentences. Although it received bipartisan support in Congress, it did not pass. One of those against the idea was Sessions, who did however support the successful move to reduce the disparity between sentences for offenses involving crack, as opposed to powdered cocaine. Some prosecutors opposed Holder's directive, saying it deprived them of a tool for persuading drug crime defendants to plead guilty. But 2 years after imposing his policy, Holder said the share of cases in which defendants cooperated remained the same, about 97%. In this week's memo, Sessions said the change was consistent with the Justice Department's responsibility to fulfill our role in a way that accords with the law, advances public safety, and promotes respect for our legal system. But Holder said Friday that since he gave prosecutors more discretion 4 years ago, the number of cases carrying mandatory minimum sentences have dropped and the prosecution of high-level drug offenders had increased without impacting the rates at which people cooperated with authorities or pleaded guilty. Abandoning this evidence-based progress and turning back the clock to a discredited, emotionally motivated, ideological policy also threatens the financial stability of the federal criminal justice system, Holder said. These reversals will be both substantively and financially ruinous, setting the department back on a track to again spending 1/3 of its budget on incarcerating people, rather than preventing, detecting, or investigating crime.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheep up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.